So the first part of this rock, paper, scissors against an AI kind of computer opponent thing, it it was looking fine. Like shake for rock, I get that. A and B for scissors, that's kind of like a scissors motion. And paper, you put your hand over the light sensor, and that kind of will make a paper sign naturally. That's great. But when I went to do the next step here, I was trying to think of like how to make a computer make a guess at it. So the first thing I had done is I kind of tried to put in, you know, this is set player guess. So I made a variable, player guess, and a computer guess. I set the player guess to one, and I'm going to have the computer guess to another, and then them to compare. This is just one of these times where block coding, while normally looks nice and easy, it's gonna get so complicated that I feel like I'm just gonna be better off going straight into REPL or Thonny or something with actual text, because I ran into a problem here. As you can see, I was trying to make like maybe a function that I could run after each of these, because otherwise I have to run after every single one, like in triplicate. The computer would then have a guess. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm doing 3 times, I'll make it a function. But even then, I was like, guess and random, and I couldn't find anywhere under maths. There's no like pick a random item from a list here. You know, there are just things that that don't exist in this makecode.org. Like you can't get the average of the values in lists, the mean. You have to do this all manually. And yeah, so I tried then. Maybe it was like, well, what if I represent it by numbers, because it just did not like even to find the string was hard. I don't even know where I found it, under text I think up here. So what I'm thinking now is I'm not going to use this other system. So my plan B was 1 is going to be rock, 2 is going to be, and then I'm going to be like, okay, well, when the computer guesses 1 to 3, 1 means it guesses rock, 2, because I'm like, if I'm already making a system of numbers within system, I don't like that. I want my program to be sensible and readable. And when it rolls rock, I want my program to say it chooses rock, not that it chooses the number 792, which represents rock for some reason. I'm just adding another layer of complexity here. So honestly, this is going to be simpler if I can use the sensors here to do this, but I'm going to go straight to Thonny as soon as possible over USB. So I'm going to get rid of this, all this junk here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send stuff here over serial down the USB cable. So here we go, serial write line rock. I'll get rid of that. You know, this will be a lot easier. And I should say, I was going to send this stuff down to serial anyway, right? Because this is all going to go down the USB cable onto a computer, then up onto the internet. So if I was going to do the serial connection anyway, why am I trying to do all of the code in clunky blocks? Why not just kind of cut it off here with the block coding and do the actual program of it in text? So don't forget that here, I think you've got to go redirect to USB somewhere here, isn't it? Under there. Cool. Let me just try and simulate this for a second. So if I go shake and show data simulator, it should be like rock. There we go. Shake, rock. If I go A and B, scissors, and if I drop the light down to 30, it should be paper. There we go. Grand. So essentially what I'm making here is an Xbox controller, you know? And if you think about it, the graphics card for the Xbox and all of the CPU and stuff is not inside the controller. All the controller does is just take these inputs and send them in, you know? Okay, so the next part of this is I need to have a little Python program. I've got my microbit now wired up. Download it. Look, you can pair it, but I would recommend, just for the sake of simplicity, that you just download it like this and drag it onto your microbit until the yellow thing goes flashy, 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 flashy. That's now, and you can see it's showing paper because the light in here is not great. And if I push these two buttons here, yeah, it shows scissors briefly, and then we'll go back to paper because it's very dim in here. I have a program here to test my serial port receiving power, I guess, this guy here. And the way where I found that is if you just go onto GitHub, under GitHub handy code, it's stjrush/handy code here. You'll find down under ALT4 sensors and outputs, you'll find serial, and you scroll down and see here where it says read test. This is just to get your COM port working, right? So back in the old days, computers used to have a number of like big thick serial ports. Those ports are still there, they're just like kind of virtualized, as in like the USB might contain, you know, 12 of them or something like that. So when you put in your USB, the computer needs to know which actual old school COM port you're actually plugging into through the USB. So down here, you're going to change one thing about this program, and that is the name of the COM port. So like COM1 is generally like your mouse or keyboard or something like that. So I'm going to press play on this. I'm going to press run. I'll just copy the whole lot. I always find that if you go into raw here, raw, copy it, and then go into Thonny and paste it in there. Great, and it didn't work. And that's why I said it probably won't, because I was just guessing that it was COM12. I don't know what COM it is. The way you do that is you just type device manager, and this will tell you all your hardware that's connected to your computers, and you want to find under, it's like USB interfaces or something down here, ports. There we go. So right now I've got COM port 1, 2, 5, and 4. So my microbit is one of those. I don't know which one it is, and I'll just, but like, you know, there's only 4 options. So I like 4 as a number. Let's try that. Press go. Starting to read. Yeah, looking good. I feel like that is less of an error. I'm not getting anything yet. Let me just try COM5. I kind of expected to get some data there. So I'll try COM5. Starting to read. So it is actually reading COM5 as well. Have I got 2 microbits connected? Oh yeah, there we go. Maybe I had like a printer or something like that, or something old school that was trying to read for. This is right. Look, paper, 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 paper. Now the problem is, as you can see, it's showing me this, which is great, but like, what's all this stuff? This /or/n. It's total junk, and I like pushing on my buttons here. I can see scissors is coming up. Okay, so what I need to do is get rid of all that junk, and I need to just clean away parts of this string. So I've actually got a program that does that as well. If you go back into this repository, which is a fancy name for a folder in GitHub, ignore this one. This is just a test program to send a variable. Like, I have a test program. My test program right now is scissors or whatever, that one that's sending stuff. Serial read explained. Yeah, I guess let's do that one. Okay, down here there's one that has like a variable and a switch, as in like a on-off thing, but I'm just going to send a variable. Now this example here was for sending temperature. So you see where I'm immediately thinking int temperature. That's not going to work. So this will be a start, but I don't think it's going to work immediately because it's expecting a number, right? So, okay, so I'll go and change this to COM5. So just to explain how this works, it opens the report. Ignore these tries for a second. I'll explain that in a moment. It's reading the thing. it's cutting off, this is one side of it. It's replacing this space with nothing at all. It's replacing this apostrophe with nothing at all. It's replacing this junk with nothing at all. And then it's taking the value and turning it into a integer because it comes in as a string. I actually want to keep it as a string. So I'm immediately going to just delete this thing here. I don't need this. I mean, like, maybe actually I should make sure it's a string by going st or a string, you know? And temperature, you know, it's not temperature, right? This is like a guess, like a player guess. So what I'm going to do is in Thonny, I'm going to do find and replace. Why is my Thonny so horrendous? I feel like the theme is all wrong here. Find and replace. I want temperature. Find, yeah, that's all the temperatures, and replace with, my variable is going to be called player guess. As you can see, like, it doesn't really matter. This is just a variable name. You can call this shoe if you want. The program will still work, but you know, it's nice to have something that's sensible. Okay, there we go. So it's now microbit data. Yeah, makes sense. Cut it off. There's the player guess. Print player guess. All that. Now let me explain what this does. So sometimes serial gets interrupted by, I don't know, it just thinks of pizza or something like that, and you get an error and it cuts out. And when I'm leaving this program on for a long time, I don't want to come back and find out that it's broken half an hour ago. So I just say, hey, look, just try this. Try this. And if you get a value error, just pass it. Pretend it never happened, you know? I mean, I could log an error here. That might be a good idea, but like, I'm just going to pass it, right? So keep then doing this for ages and ages and ages and ages. Try do it anyway, and if you get an error, just pass it, right? Why do I have another try? I have another try because what if I want to stop this program with the keyboard? What I can do is I can put a try. I can use this as a stop program. Instead of hitting stop on Thonny, I can go Control C to stop the program. And see the way I've said, not just, I could just go accept, and it would come up with any sort of interruption. It would do this. But I'm going to say specifically if I do keyboard interrupt, so Control C, it'll say this, it'll close the serial port, which is good, and it'll print this to let me know what's going on. Grand. Okay, so have I changed this back to COM5? I think I have. I need to run this. Paper, very good. Paper, very good. Super. And now scissors, if I hold out scissors. Oh, I think I've got a serial traffic jam. Right, okay. So the problem is, it's spewing out, because the light is constantly dim in here, it's spewing out like, I don't know, like 100 values per second, right? All of those 100 values are queued up in a traffic jam and are gonna wait. So when I hit scissors here, it's not that my program's not working. It will do scissors, like, oh, there you go. See, there's rock from when I first picked it up a while ago. Okay, this is traffic jam. So the way you stop a traffic jam is, instead of sending 100 values at once, you just slow down the flow. And the way you do that is you pop into your program here to begin with, this guy, and you just put in a pause. A little pause. Let's say I only want to send one value per second. Is that alright? And there we go. And then it won't be doing multiple things. Nice. Okay. So again, I have to download this to my microbit. I open it up with a little arrow. I drag it across. I should see a yellow flashy here, which means it's working. Paper. Okay, it's still sending paper, but it's not sending like a gazillion. And also, I noticed that I think I've got a sleep here. So what would happen if I just got rid of that sleep? Yeah, paper. All right. So what I'm discovering here is, I think it works pretty good. The problem is, it's just too dark in here. So I'm going to turn on the light. Okay, hopefully that will stop the flow of constant papers. Yay, it worked. I'm going to put my hand over to make paper. There's paper. And I'm going to shake it to make rock. Alright, what happened there? Oh, I managed to send something completely different. So, Yeah, I might need to do an else or something. So what's coming out of this here is the player guess, right? And now that I have like a player guess, I can actually write my program here. So the first thing I need to figure out is if that's the player's guess, what is the computer's guess? So to do that, I'm going to just make a list of options like in the game. So like, you know, listy mac list face is equal to 3 options, and I'm going to do these as strings, so that's why I'm using little quotation marks. Rock. I wonder why I use double quotation marks instead of single. Do you know, it's like you start off watching Back to the Future 3, and it's the greatest Back to the Future. Back to the Future 1, even though it's debatably a better movie, it's never as good as the first one you watched, you know? So, yeah, I just started off using double quotation marks, and now it just feels wrong to use single ones. Even though, I don't know, rock, paper, scissors. Alright. Square brackets. There's my list of options. Now, the computer is going to guess one of those, okay? So to do that, I need to import random, because it's going to make a random guess. From random, import choice. Down here. And then CPU guess is going to be, oh man, that's a lot of capitals in the wrong place. I'll just go CPU. Computer guess. I'll use camel cases. Camel cases when you have like, you break up words using capital letters. You know, some people like to do the underscore thing, but I like that. CPU guess is going to be a random choice from listy mac list face. Now, I can't remember, is it random dot choice or just choice? I think because I said from random import choice as opposed to import random, now that it's already gone down the random and branched off towards choice, I think choice is, I can just use choice, right? Because that's like when you go from time import sleep, you don't have to go time dot sleep. So even though it feels like cheating, I think I can just go choice from this. Alright, and then I'm gonna go print the computer goes for, and then whatever their choice is, right? So CPU guess. Right. So now every time I guess, the computer should have a guess. Let's go. So stop, go. I'm gonna do scissors first. Computer goes for paper. Paper, the computer goes for rock. Oh, it's working! It's working! There we go. Scissors, the computer goes for scissors. Oh yeah. Well, like at this stage, it's not. It's just basically now an if thing, isn't it? So I'm gonna go if player guess is equal to computer guess, because they're the same thing. I can say print it's a draw. So let me just see if that works, because I mean I'm bound to get a draw every now and again, right? Computer go for scissors. I'm just going to keep going until I get a draw. It's a draw immediately. Computer goes for scissors. Deadly. All right. Now how do I make someone win? Else if. So if I go player guess is rock, and then I'm going to use the and. Computer guess is paper, and then a colon here. So this is going to be where the computer wins, right? So computer wins. And then I'm going to give a point towards the computer. So computer points. I haven't made this yet, so how can I add one to it when? Oh, you know what I'm going to need to do? I'm going to let me just declare this to start. I mean, with Python you can kind of declare it halfway down, but it's fine. It's just neat to have your variables at the top. Computer points equals 0 to start them off. I know it's a little, this is like how you program in C or something like that, but player points. It does make it easier to read for someone reading your program, I think, when you just declare your variables at the start. So computer points is equal to 0 there, and now I'm going to add some computer points plus 1. Now I know I could do plus equals 1, but it's just easier to read, okay? So let's, and then at the end, why don't I give the score down here? And I'll put in computer points there, and then player. And you see the way I've avoided the error of player points not existing when to print it, because I've started them off as 0 up here. I've done a lot of typing for not a lot of running, which is a dangerous thing to do. I'm getting very overconfident. Okay, there we go. There we go. It's a draw. 0 0. Let's try to go again. Yeah, there we go. Eventually, the computer will get paper. The computer's got 1 point there now. Grand. So yeah, I'm probably gonna stop it here and leave you fill in all of the other options, like player guess equals paper, and who gets the point. So if the player gets the point, it'll be player guess equals player player points equals player points plus 1 down here. But there you go. I'm not gonna. I feel like this is from here. You can just do that another 3 times and fill it in. All right. So that's this part of it, I suppose, and then we'll think about like where to go from here later on.